to a very special live episode of Show of the Week, coming to you live from the launch of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, live here in London. So Andy, how does it feel to be live?
Well, it's not live, is it? Because that was on Monday and it's Friday today.
Dude, why do you have to blow the tape? We can't even reshoot that because we're going out live. Why are you talking in the past tense? We're here right now.
Yeah, but this show airs on Friday, so Monday will be in the past by then, won't it?
Oh God. Hang on. Oh, this picture of my family, I'm fading away.
Okay, well, regardless of when it happens, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out recently. Here's why it's our game of the week.
Right, better get on with this before my mouth disappears. So, Call of Duty. As far as sales are concerned, it certainly ain't broke, so you can see why the plan for Black Ops 2 would be, for pity's sake, don't fix it. But Treyarch seems to recognise that if you don't evolve, you die, which is why Black Ops 2 is the most radical overhaul of Call of Duty since the original Modern Warfare. Several of the sacred cows have been strapped with C4, loaded into a giant cannon and launched into space for a fireworks display in the shape of a giant middle finger. And if that overwrought metaphor meant nothing to you, let me explain. Kill streaks are gone, replaced with score streaks to encourage more cooperative team play. Loadouts have been completely reworked, blending equipment and perks into a single pick-10 system, allowing for even greater specialisation. And the game that was once the poster child of the linear single-player shooter now has a branching storyline and more open level design. Plus, co-op fan favourite Call of Duty Zombies is back, this time with a 50s sci-fi twist and a new story mode, Transit, which has you travelling by bus between zombie-riddled locations. With this almost certainly the last Call of Duty built for this generation, it would have been easy to just fart out a seasonal update for some easy money. Treyarch has done the exact opposite, tinkering with almost every system in the game in an attempt to improve it. For that reason, it's our game of the week.
Look, if you just say as live, then that covers off all eventuality.
Yeah, but I need to make sure my parents get together. I mean, like, what do I have to do? Lure them into the same match of kill confirmed and hope that my dad has a better kill-death ratio than Biff?
Who is Biff? Look, okay, I can see that you've kind of lost the thread of where we are here. Maybe we should just throw to Jane and see how she's getting on. Jane, over to you.
Thanks, Andy. Now, as we all work ourselves into an unseemly froth over the prospect of more Call of Duty multiplayer and even more zombies, you'd be forgiven for not realising that Call of Duty Black Ops 2 even has a single-player campaign. It does have a single-player campaign, right? Great, excellent. And that is the kind of perception that Treyarch's looking to change with the campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which adds branching storylines and choices to combat criticisms of previous Call of Duty games that they've been too linear. Here's executive producer Jason Blundell to tell you all about what they're going for.
What do you think people are going to get out of the single-player campaign this time?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. The interview might run out, but I'll say start off by saying new features. So custom loadouts for weapons and for perks and for attachments and for camo. Then we put a challenge system in because we basically did multiple paths through the single-player levels. The challenges allow us to kind of draw focus to this other content that you wouldn't see. There's multiple points in different levels where you might go one way, well there's a totally different path that's scripted and has a different experience. Putting experiences in for sniper gameplay, for exploration. We have access perks that allow you to unlock specific content in that level. They give you different kind of special weapons or special abilities. And then the branching storyline of the actual main story itself, the kind of the overarch. So the choices you make at different points in the game will dictate your ending and basically what happens to the characters. Some will live and some will die.
The kind of the branching nature of the campaign, was that kind of a reaction to some of the criticisms of previous games where it's been people say it's been very linear, very kind of almost on rails?
I think it was an idea that we'd always wanted to go after. We always want to give options. We never want to kind of just pigeonhole someone into how to play the game. But in the past, we never really had the resources at hand to be able to leverage it. Because if you're going to do it, you have to do it properly. There's no point just putting something in and saying, oh, there we go, we've given you branching storylines. We felt this time with the coming together of the forces and how we could leverage the team and the time we had to do it, we could put in the branching storylines. And then it wasn't just that, it was then, okay, well, how do we give choice at different levels? And I think when you look at the game, you'll see that in all the aspects. How do we customize it? How do we draw you to different parts of the game? I think it wouldn't have been worthwhile if we just put that in. I think it had to be a complete philosophical change on how we approach the game as a whole.
Now it begins.
Do you have kind of one eye on the influence of your games when you're making them? Do you think this is going to be influential? We need to kind of think of that.
I think we keep an eye to make sure that we, especially on the story side, we're not preaching in any way. We try and make a neutral story. We try and tell something that we're passionate about and show different angles, but we allow people to read into it. But we're so heads down when we kind of start the game. We think about our canon that we're trying to move forward. That we're not really looking to the outside world, and that we want to make sure that everything is above board. But we really want to tell the story. We want to make sure the game player is enjoying it. That's the main premise.
Remember, no rushing.
It seems to be the kind of the modern warfare games that do that have the controversial levels,
Sure.
the Russian and the London terrorist attacks, whereas you don't see kind of that sort of thing in the Treyarch games.
Sure. I don't think it's a controversy issue. I mean, controversies have started, but I think we make the story. We try and tell the story we're trying to tell, and sometimes there's elements in that become controversial. But there's never a kind of let's sit down and make the controversial level. But things like that do rise out, and as artists, you need to have the freedom to kind of go places and explore ideas. But we're also responsible as well. So if we get to that kind of moment, we'll sit there and talk about it. But absolutely not. I think we'd shy away if there was an idea of making something for shock value purpose.
The success of Call of Duty each year, there's a new one comes out,
yes,
and it smashes the record
sure.
of the previous one.
Yeah.
How long do you think that can go on for? Do you have to plateau at some point?
I don't believe so, because I think when we started with the franchise, there was different kind of teams developing it. But as we started, there was such an idea of this is COD. And that would be a little bit sacred. But as time's gone on, we've kind of innovated and changed the style. And as Treyarch, we now have a certain flair and taste about our products that allows us, and with other teams, allows them to kind of go in different directions. And with this title, I feel like we've just started on the road to kind of explore different avenues in gameplay. Because we're a game first and foremost. We're storytellers second. Specifically on the campaign side. But I think this game really kind of cements the idea that you can take the franchise where you need to. You don't forget where you come from, and those things are key to the experience, but you can take it in a different direction and still be providing AAA quality gameplay.
Oh hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I might just leave Mike to it for a bit.
David, it's your cousin Mike. Mike von der Haar. You know that new multiplayer experience you've been searching for? Well, get a load of this.
Okay, so that sounds like the perfect opportunity to do the comment section.
What, here? It's kind of noisy.
Okay, first up in the comments is the response to the Mass Effect 3 DLC Omega, which we posted a preview of last week. In the comments section, most of the discussion is on the first Tyrian female named Nyreen, and naturally, discussion falls to her lady part, and some xenobiological discussion thereof.
Yeah, so Virenti was confused, saying, does the Turian have breasts, mammaries on the not even vaguely mammalian lizard bird people?
To which Sam Williamson responded, Turians are viviparous, meaning they give birth to live young. As such, it isn't too much of a stretch that they might feed on dextroprotein milk too.
Actually, probably my favourite comments ever. Meanwhile, over on YouTube, things were slightly less highbrow, with Bruno Santos saying, how about a Hannah with tits?
How would that even work?
I don't know, ask YouTube.
All right. Well, on last week's Show of the Week, in which Mike interviewed Halo 4 producer Kiki Wolfkill,
I think that would be a fair statement.
Van Devia says, was Mike really drunk or just flirting in that interview? Either way, respect.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with Mike. It's always one or the other.
Meanwhile, on the subject of a possible romance between Master Chief and Cortana, on which Mike tried to draw Kiki Wolfkill, Gray says, I thought Cortana was meant to be his handler. Typically, the handler relationship is one of a surrogate mother figure. Romance would be weird and Oedipal, although they do already have some ancient Greek undertones going on, so why not let Chiefy bang his pseudo-cyber mum?
Yeah, why not 343?
I heard it was the working title.
Well, comments still continue to flood in about Mike's video about the ending of Assassin's Creed 3. I haven't actually read any of them because I've not finished the game yet and I don't want to spoil it. So there could be all sorts of unimaginable filth going on over there.
Or it could be a cultured exchange of theories and conjecture held between people who respect each other's viewpoints.
Well, there's literally no way of knowing unless you've finished the game, in which case head to the URL on screen right now and see if you agree with Mike.
He was captured and imprisoned. Those who took him believed he could help them find something.
Is that Mike playing Johnny Be Good on the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 shoutcasting stage?
God, I'll go and get him. I don't think these guys are ready for that.
The kids are going to love it.
All right, Mikey McFly, it's time for us to make like trees and get out of here.
Yeah, but don't expect me to be hanging around with you buttheads next week. I bought a sports almanac, and when we get back to our time, I'm going to bet on the results, and I'll be a millionaire.
I've explained to you, we're in our time. This is our time.
Yeah, whatever you say, Alfred Einstein. Anyway, I better go and warn these people about Hitler. There's some bad stuff about to go down.
Yeah, okay, you do that. We'll see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.